With the winter season quickly approaching, it won't be too long before snow starts to accumulate on the roadways across Pennsylvania. Removing and clearing this snow from roads and highways in a timely manner is vital so that residents can continue to travel to places that they need to go. The Public Works Department of the city, borough, or township that you live in plays an important role in clearing snow and keeping roadways safe for you to travel on. Today we'll take a closer look at these snow removal efforts here in the Ferguson Township, located in Center County. Preparations for the upcoming winter season have already begun for the Public Works Department in the Ferguson Township. The township goes through about 1,500 tons of salt per year, which they use to help clear around 100 miles of roadway and 8 miles of bike paths within their township after each winter storm. The snow removal crew of 14 people has to respond to an average of 26 winter storms per year and clear this snow and ice so that people can get around safely. David Modricker, the Ferguson Township's Public Works Director, knows that there's plenty of things that they need to do to get their operation ready for the upcoming winter season.
We make sure that we have all our materials ordered and we have materials on hand. So rock salt is our go-to material. We order that through a cooperative program with the state, like most of the other municipalities. So we'll make sure we have our materials on hand, that we're able, we have communications with our suppliers. The other thing we'll do is we calibrate our trucks because we have ground speed controls, so we can put down the right amount of material depending on the storm and how fast the trucks are traveling. So we make sure our vehicles are calibrated, and then we also will do what we call dry runs, so the drivers will run their plow routes, make sure we have delineators where they're needed and there aren't any obstacles in the way, and that's typically how we prepare.
The Ferguson Township receives their weather information from a variety of different sources throughout the winter so that they can have enough crew members scheduled for a specific storm and so that they can clear the snow that does fall in a timely and effective manner.
We watch the weather channels just like everybody else. We don't subscribe to any one in particular, so we'll look at a number of sources. Of course, the local weather source in Ferguson Township is AccuWeather, but we'll look at a number of sources. And whenever there's a large event coming, we have a center region emergency coordinator, and that individual sends us notices through the National Weather Service, and we'll get constant updates for large events that are headed our way.
These weather forecasts are vital for the Ferguson Township so they can get crews and trucks prepared before the snow starts to fall and therefore get out ahead of the storm before the snow starts to accumulate a lot on the roadways. If this does not happen, cars and trucks will run over and compact the snow that's already fallen, which creates a hard snowpack. This typically takes more salt and materials to loosen up and remove, which is why it's very important to get crews out ahead of the storm. The Ferguson Township is also planning on experimenting pre-treating roadways before winter storms this year.
Some agencies do some pre-wetting of the roads in advance of storms. You see that especially with PennDOT, and the borough's gotten into it. We're going to be doing a little bit of that, kind of our own pilot project this year of pre-wetting and putting salt brine down. And what that does is when that initial snow hits, it starts to help break that contact so it's easier to remove.
Another very important part of the snow removal efforts in the Ferguson Township is the communication that they need to have with their surrounding towns and with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation so that they can all work together to clear the roads and highways across the Keystone State.
Every year we check with our neighboring municipalities, so the State College Borough and Patton Township, and also with PennDOT, because our roads do intersect, so we have to turn around somewhere. So we have agreements on certain roads that, for example, Ferguson Township will plow in Patton, Patton will exchange roads in Ferguson. We do the same thing with the Borough of State College. It's a little more formal with PennDOT in that there are sections of road that we will plow. We enter into a 5-year agreement with them. Those roads make sense for us logically because we're going to travel down them anyway to get from point A to point B for our own operations, and then that's an agreement, and then they pay us by road mile for the work that we do based on their own formula. They're consistent across the state.
Clearing snow from roadways for the over 19,000 people that live in the Ferguson Township and for those who are traveling through the area is not an easy task, as there are some challenges that the Public Works Department faces throughout the winter.
I would say the biggest challenge that our crew has is traffic. It is difficult for the guys to clear the roads while the motoring public's out there and while there's vehicles parked on the road. So it's helpful when residents know to move their vehicles if we're expecting more than 2 inches of snow. We understand people need to move around and get to work. To the extent that people can wait and don't have to be out there during a storm, that helps the guys get the roads cleared.
As the Ferguson Township continues to prepare for the winter, you should also make sure that your car is ready to drive over these next couple of months. It's a good idea to have an ice scraper, a flashlight, gloves, emergency flares, and a first aid kit, among other things, in your car during the winter months. Now is also a good time to check on the tires, the battery, and the antifreeze in your car so that it's ready to go whatever the weather is like outside. For Weather World, I'm Jacob Morris.